Question 6, consider functions f and g. So you can see the two functions. The question says which expression is equal to f of x divided by g of x. Okay, so since we're dividing a rational expression by another rational expression, we don't really have to go through the iterative division process for this particular problem. So recall, when you divide a fraction by a fraction, really what you're doing is you're multiplying the original fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction. A simple problem to think that way is if we do 2 divided by 3 and we divide it by 1/4, 2/3 divided by 1/4, and you could verify this in the calculator, is the same thing as 2/3 times 4/1. You may have learned copy, change when you're dividing fractions. Essentially, that's all we're doing. So we're going to take the original fraction. So since it's f divided by g, we're going to rewrite the original fraction, f of x, which is 7x squared plus 91x minus 2,646 all over 7x. And I'm going to multiply that by the reciprocal of the g function, which is negative 2x over x minus 14. And recall, we can cancel things out. When we've got a fraction times a fraction, we can multiply or reduce north and south or diagonally, because really when you're multiplying, really this is just one large fraction. We think about it that way. But those x's, the x attached with the negative 2 and attached with the 7, those can cancel out. Okay, but simply doing that and looking at what we have left and comparing it to the 4 answer choices, we're nowhere close to getting one of those answer choices. So what this tells me, this big, ugly numerator in the top left-hand corner, this has to be able to be factored. There has to be able to rewrite that problem into 2 linear fractions. So I'm going to rewrite it just with empty spots for now. And then keep everything else the same. But since I noticed there is no x minus 14 in any of these answers, that gives me a big clue that x minus 14 is also going to be one of these factors in the problem. So I really just need to come up with the other factor. So you can do this one of 2 ways. We could divide 7x squared plus 91x minus 2,646 and divide that by x minus 14. That would certainly work. The quicker way to me would just be to kind of do this as a multiplication problem, because we know that, let me change colors here, we know that something times x is going to give us 7x squared. Well, there's only one thing times 1x that gives us 7x squared, and that's 7x. And then we know that something times negative 14 gives us negative 2,646. Now that I can't do in my head. So that we want the calculator, and we are going to use division. So what is negative 2,646 divided by negative 14? Positive 189. So now we have everything factored out. The x minus 14s are going to cancel out here. And then we're left with, so let's take our numerator. Our numerator, we have a negative 2 and a 7x plus 189. I'm going to write the negative 2 first. But we're multiplying those things together. On the bottom denominator of the fraction, all we have left is a 7. I still don't see the correct answer here, or even really close to a correct answer. So I'm going to go a little further. Let's go ahead and multiply this negative 2. Might be a different way to do this, but let's try this. Negative 2 times 7x is negative 14x. Negative 2 times 189, I probably could do that in my head, but I want to make sure I don't make a mistake. Negative 378. All divided by 7. Still not a correct answer up there. So what that tells me, we probably could have found this early on in the problem, but it's fine to do it at the end. What it tells me is we could factor this one more time. There must be a greatest common factor within negative 14x minus 378. And it's either going to be, let's try 14. I honestly have no clue. Does 14 go into 378? Yeah, it does 27 times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor out a negative 14 from the numerator, and it becomes x plus 27. All over positive 7. Negative 14 divided by 7. That's going to reduce. I'm out of space, so I'm just going to do it right here. Negative 14 divided by 7 becomes negative 2. Answer is still not there. Let's distribute the negative 2 now. We get negative 2x minus 54. Finally, that is an answer choice.